Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. This one should be locked for real. Hold on. Alright. Two likes. What's good with y'all, fam? Welcome back to JRush TV. If you're new to my channel, make sure you hit that like, that comment, and subscribe button. JRush TV, we cover all things finance, business, reaction videos, and overall the economy. Most important, get to the pape, get to the money, self-improvement, all that good stuff. So that's something you find interesting. Make sure you subscribe and like the comment and check out some of my old videos. A lot of good content, a lot of good game in there. If you return to my channel, appreciate you tuning back in. You already know what's up. Another week, another video. New week, new opportunities. We still get into it, man. But I don't want to hold y'all too long. Let's get straight to it. First things first, what we're going to do, we're going to get into RobinHood portfolio update. We made a lot of good gains this week. It's currently February 16th. My last video, if y'all go look at that, I did a little more research on HIMS. I already started a HIMS position in my private portfolio, but I want to bring this into the public portfolio as well. I do believe it's a great company. I've been eyeing it for a couple months now, and they've been soaring with the Super Bowl ad and all that good stuff. But I don't get too much into it because we did more of that into the last video. So if y'all want to see my opinions on stuff on HIMS, go to my last video, watch that, catch up with the fam. If you're new here, catch up my last videos. We going forward. We doing a lot of work, so catch up for me. So yeah, that's the main thing we're gonna do. We're gonna do a stock recap for show. So on the day, I'm up 2.6% on the day. That's pretty good today. We made $46 passively. Now I ain't lifting a finger. That's pretty good. On the week, we up 6%. We up 6% on the week, man. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. 6% up $100 on the week. That's good. It's the portfolio starting to bounce back up. It's been down. January was a rough month. You had tariffs scares. You had DeepSeek. The Fed didn't increase rates, so that kind of did another dip. So a lot of volatility has been going on these past couple weeks. But you know what we do? We buy. We invest in great companies. If we see something off, then we might sell. I had a young dude comment recently saying, you know, I thought we long-term holders, whoop, whoop, whoop. Yes, I am a long-term holder, but when I see that a stock is underperforming, or I just think I can reinvest that money into another opportunity, I'm going to do that. I will sell. At first, I was like, no, hold every stock. But as I've gotten older and I've been doing more research, it's opportunity loss, really. I might, you know what I mean? It's opportunity loss. I can be using that money and invest in another stock, especially if I don't have a lot of money, cash flow coming in. I might not have $300 to cash that I can just put into this account, but I may have $300 in a stock I invested in. It might not be doing bad, but it might not be doing the best. I'm looking for undervalued, high growth stocks. You know, I'm young. I'm a little bit more riskier. That's my strategy. So I divested from QQQ. I divested also from QQQ, Apple, and I think it was one more that I divested from. But I took those funds and I put in the HIMS. But let's keep going on a month. I'm up 1.42%. Year to date, I'm up $33. So we making a comeback. We making a comeback. Like I said, it's long term. All time, I'm up 13%. So that's about on average with the S&P 500. Actually, no, S&P 500 did like 25% last week. I'm not gonna lie, but year over year average 15%. So that's cool. And I don't have a lot of money that I'm putting in here right now. So you know, these are still cool games. I see a lot of volatility. But let's go ahead and get into let's just get through each stock. S&P 500, we doing cool. Right now my average cost is 300. I'm up 26% on the S&P 500 right now. So I think that's pretty good. Just a stable ETF. You know, I don't personally own any more ETFs right now just because I feel like I'm a little more experienced. But when I first started, and I know it's a lot of young people watching these videos, I think it's important to keep an ETF in your portfolio. Keep it in there. You know what I mean? And if you always find another opportunity, you could sell this and put it into another stock, and you don't have to pull from your own cash fund. You know, Nvidia has been climbing back up. It's up 6% on the week. That's pretty good. Year to date, I think it might be down. It might be just even year to date. So no crazy movement. We have an earnings call coming in about a week or so for Nvidia. So that's chill. Right now I'm up almost 50% on Nvidia. That's great gains, about 30% of my portfolio. I might take profit because I think I've been invested in Nvidia for over a year. Let's see. And that's another thing too. I don't like to sell stocks if I've owned it for less than a year because that's short-term capital gains tax, and we don't want that. We want long-term capital gains tax. So I invested in Nvidia October 2023. It's currently 2025. They did a 10-to-1 split, and then let me see, 2024 July. So the split was almost a year ago. So I think I'm good for it to sell on long term. So I might that might be something in the back of my head. I might take some profit from Nvidia and put it somewhere else. I'm only up $170. If I did, it'd probably be like 30-50 ball maybe. Nothing crazy. I still want that to grow. But Nvidia's doing good. It's been making a nice growth comeback. You see it dipped off a lot, but it's starting to trail back up. That's why you just gotta be long term. You gotta keep your emotions out of it. Meta, my baby, I love Meta right now. On the week it's up 3%. On the month we up 20%. Year to date we up 25% year to date already. You know what I mean? We only like a month and a half in, and we already up 25%. That's great gains. I did a little analysis on Meta in my last. Once I post this 2 videos ago, so if y'all want to see that, check that out. We did a little deep dive into Meta and why I like the company. I've been investing in them over 2 years now, so I love it, Meta. Celsius, we still down. This is a hold. I might add a little bit more, but it's not priority right now. My average cost 65. I'm down like 65% on here. So hey, you win some, you lose some. I'm not afraid to show my losses. You know what I mean? So could I sell it? Yeah, but we just gonna hold. It ain't. It's only less than 2% of my portfolio. Nothing crazy, but I got a Celsius right now. So I mean, I still drink it. I see a lot of people out and about drinking Celsius too as well. So bon appetit. So we gonna that's a hold. I've been averaging down on my private portfolio, but not too much. Rivian, I think I'm still down as well. Down 12%, not too bad. But Rivian's been making some moves though too. It's up 12% this week. Rivian up 12% this week. I think it's because what happened? Something happened. I can't remember. I read something or something happened with Rivian. I can't remember, but yeah, they up 12% this week. Year to date, they up 5%. So not crazy. And I still got it high, but we're gonna keep holding. It's a hold. What else we got? We got AMD. AMD been bouncing back a lot too as well. This week is up about 6% this week. On the month, it's still down. 3 months is down 17%. Year to date down 7% as well. This is a stock I will keep my and dollar cost averaging down. My average was like 160. I'm not gonna lie. I got it down to 140. So we're gonna keep averaging down. This is definitely a long-term play. Probably a year or two out, we probably start seeing some good movement on AMD. But I believe in the semiconductor space, and we're gonna need more semiconductors and GPUs, CPUs. I think the AMD is more so the CPU area and their interference. So Lisa Su, good CEO, and you got to believe in the company. And I think these low 100 rates is a good buying opportunity. 52-week high is 220. If it's a good company, from what I've learned, if it's a good company and it's reporting good earnings, sometimes you're gonna have to keep buying when it's high. We buy when it's high, we buy when it's low. You know what I mean? So that don't matter. But if you see a good company and it's down from its 52-week high, way down. This is on trailing 52-week low. That's a solid buying opportunity. You want you want to buy these stocks when they're down. That's the best time to buy, really, not when they really high. Unless like a Palantir or Nvidia, that's something you keep dollar cost averaging into because it might just keep going higher, but not nothing crazy average. But if it dips, then that's when you throw more cash into it. You feel me? But yeah, like the AMD play for sure. What else we got? We got SoFi. SoFi was down a little bit. You know what I mean? SoFi was down a little bit. It was consolidating, but on the day we up, after hours we down 0.06. But Friday ended at roughly 7% up on the day. You know what I mean? So on the week it was up roughly 9%, month 6%, year to date up 8%. So we and it dipped down here for a while. So I hope y'all was buying during this dip. A lot of big whales just bought a lot. A lot of big whales just bought on Friday, so that's a good sign. That's why I pumped up a little bit. A lot of good people were putting a couple million in there. So we about to break even on here. I'm down 2%. I'm up 23% on Friday. It's 22% of my portfolio right now. I got how many shares I have? I have my fault. Oh yeah, I got 23 shares. So I'm probably get that up to 30. We're gonna keep dollar cost average to SoFi, but we coming back up. I'm saying it's high, it's low. I'm gonna keep buying. You know what I mean? I bought more this past week. Or when? I bought more on the 12th. So that was like 4 days ago. I bought more on the 12th. I bought 2.7 shares, almost 3 shares. You know what I mean? So 40. We gonna keep buying SoFi for sure. I got my banking. I got my healthcare a little bit. I got my semiconductor. I got Meta, which is AI play mixed in with advertising. Couple more positions I do want to make in here, but I'm gonna take it slow. I know a lot of young people watching. I don't want to just keep buying stocks because I know why I'm buying them, but I want to show y'all slow and steady, win the race. And then lastly, we have HIMS. The last video, check that out, guys. I said I was doing a little research on HIMS. Been buying more in my private portfolio, so I wanted to put a position here in a public portfolio. And yeah, I got in at $44. That was like, let me show y'all, bro. I bought this on the 12th. I put $50 in on the 12th, and it's just a feeling I be having. Like I just be knowing it's my feeling, my intuition, and it went up. This joint went up. I'm up 38% already, guys. Like that was in 4 days, and it really did because after that Super Bowl commercial, they had a lot of traffic into their website. You know what I mean? Advertising, and this is a good point right here too. And I'm gonna go ahead and probably end this video. I won't keep it too long. Keep this a little short. But this is a point I want to emphasize. So, like y'all saw with SMH, the semiconductor stock I sold a couple weeks ago. Or a Google that's already have so much valuation into it, or a Microsoft, they already have so much money, so much growth packed into them from before when I was even born. You know what I mean? I'm looking for small cap, high growth companies. So I put my money into this stock 4 days ago. I'm already up 38%. Now, it's saying, is this going to stay up like this? No. This could drop back down to $44 for all I know. The stock is very volatile. If it does, I'll buy more. But just to show y'all, in 4 days, I made a 38% return on my money versus other stocks I've been investing into over a year. I'm only up 7%. So, opportunity cost. I'm going to sell that stock and I'm going to put it in the HIMS. Boom, I'm up 38%. I've been doing my research. I like the company. I got a good feeling about it. Just like that, guys. So that's a good point to show y'all. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to show y'all my journey. Live transparency, bruh. Couple $100 a month. Ain't nothing crazy, but year to date, they already have 150% year to date, bro. And I was buying around here. It's crazy, and I think this is going to be a Hello? Yo, I'm on a live stream right now. What's up?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just calling to see what you were doing and asked, do you have $10 so I can get a lift?
$10 lift for where?
To my best friend Jada's house. My mom said I can go, but I just need a lift there. And it's only $10 for like these 7 minutes.
Alright. Go ahead, request it.
Okay.
Alright. LOL. My niece called and asked for some money. I don't be trying to say no. Nah. I say no. I say no. But sometimes just be like, oh my gosh, they have 500% year over year. So you feel me, bro? So it's like, okay, you gonna invest in a Microsoft, Apple, steady company, good growth, or you can put your money in a low cap, stock like this, and get 500% over your money. That's crazy. But I try to give them some money if they ask, bro. I don't want to be that uncle. My aunt, she used to always send me money, so I try to do that. I work hard. This is why you work hard, bro. This is why you work hard, so you can bless your family and take care of your loved ones as much as you can. But nah, I tell them though, I just sent that 10 ball right there. I see that. I sent the 10 ball, but I tell them no though. Like, y'all need to work. It ain't free. Life ain't free out here. Life ain't free. You know what I mean? I need to call her, tell her she need to work. She need to edit some of my videos or something. You want to make money? Edit some of my videos. I do that. But I'm getting off topic. But nah, they need to work. These young kids need to work for their money, just like everybody else. But that's the stock portfolio update for this week, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed that for sure. We doing good. We bouncing back. Market's been trending up. I had an all-time high in my private portfolio. So yeah, appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure y'all like, y'all comment, y'all subscribe, leave any comments, any questions y'all may have in the comments. Appreciate the love and support. Let's keep investing for the future. Let's get it. What's good, fam? Welcome back to JRuss TV. If you're new to my channel, make sure you hit that like, that comment, that subscribe button below. If you're returning to my channel, appreciate you for tuning in. We cover all things business, finance, reaction, the economy. Most importantly, let's get into the pape. How can you better yourself? How can you create wealth? You know what I mean? That's what I talk about. But yeah, appreciate y'all. Hit that like button for me real quick. Just hit the like, smash it. 2 seconds. But next, what we got on topic is how America got hooked on cars. I like talking about the economy. I think cars are one of the biggest wealth killers of our time right now. Whether you want to admit it or not, I done spent thousands on my car and it's paid off, and it's just be like, dang, gas, insurance, taxes, maintenance. You spend it. You average person might spend $1,000 a month just on cars. Like, it's crazy. But let's get into the video. Let's see what CNBC got to do. You know I love my CNBC. Let's get into it.
Cars dominate American life. The daily commutes, road trips, errands, families ferrying the kids around. You name it.
Wow, look at this! Wow, this is tough!
On the more than 4 million miles of road across the United States, 70% of Americans drive themselves to work. Only 3.5% take public transportation. The common explanation is this all 3.5% take % of Americans on the more than
dang, 70% drive?
Only 3.5% take public transportation. The common explanation is this all happened because Americans just love cars and driving. The open road.
There it is.
Almost too good to believe.
My careful study of this history over a couple of decades now persuades me that the historical record shows that car domination was not a popular preference, was not voted for through democratic processes. It wasn't even the result, as a lot of people will try to claim, of free enterprise just doing its thing.
So it is economical, but I don't care. I don't drive a car to save gasoline, I drive for fun.
Policy has been a driver
There you go.
of shifting what's convenient away from public transit and walking on the one hand to driving on the other.
That has downsides. It's expensive, dangerous, and, say critics, makes cities a lot less livable. There are, of course, some health costs as well.
Yeah.
But some attempts to push back on car dominance, such as congestion pricing, transit funding, bike lanes, or pushes for walkable cities, have stoked controversy. CNBC talked with some scholars and looked at numbers to see how America really got so hooked on cars.
That's what I'm going to do this summer. I'm definitely going to try to walk more, and I want to get a bike. I want to ride my bike around where I live and stuff. Where I live is becoming more cityfied, and it's definitely walkable. I'm close to a metro, things like that, train station. So I'm gonna try to utilize it more, cause cars is expensive, bro. And I love cars. I got plans on getting a new car, bro, in the next couple years, God bless, my portfolio been hitting this year. So it may be sooner, but I'm trying to play it smart. Don't want to get stuck in a $5 a month car payment. Not trying to pay $20 in insurance. And I'm not trying to spend $4 a month on gas on a new car. All that combined in. But I love cars too.
There are about 283 million registered vehicles for a US population of about 341 million. That means more than 80% of Americans could technically own a car. This graph right here shows urban mobility in Europe versus the US. Depending on the city, you can see how the population is moving around by public transport, walking, skating or cycling, or driving. In Europe, there's a pretty fair balance between those who are active, take public transport, and drive. On average, about 30 to 50% drive, and the rest is divided between active commuting and public transport, but definitely leaning towards active. In North America, on the other hand, it is generally 70 to 90% by car. Through the years, Americans have mythologized or romanticized the open road, but many roads in the US often actually look a lot more like this. On average, the time Americans spend in traffic is equal to an extra full week of work per year. That's not commuting time. That's just time lost to congestion.
Dang.
In cities like New York and Chicago, it's more than twice that. It's also not cheap to own a car. Insurance premiums, repair costs, and vehicle prices are all near all-time highs.
Bruh.
In 2024,
That's what I'm saying.
Americans, on average, spent more than $12,000 to own and operate a new car. While cars are in many ways safer than they have ever been, they still can and do injure and kill people. Vehicle fatalities started rising again in the 2010s after years of declines. The federal government has called it a national crisis. Those numbers have since fallen a bit, but are still relatively high. Between 2010 and 2023, pedestrian deaths skyrocketed too.
The USA has the worst traffic safety record of any high-income country in the world, and also almost uniquely among high-income...
Wait, what? Pedestrian death surged from 2010 to reach a 40-year high. Dang.
Safety record of any high-income country in the world.
They declined in 2023 a little
almost
bit.
uniquely among high-income countries. The trends have not been improving over the last 10 to 20 years.
America is hardly alone. Evidence suggests going car crazy is in part a byproduct of prosperity. It's not a perfect comparison, but nearly all American households have access to a car, while only about 55% of Americans have access to public transit. When Americans think of charmingly dense cities with walkable streets, a robust bicycling culture, and great public...
Let me know below. Y'all a city person or y'all like a suburb person? Y'all use public transportation or y'all have a car? What's y'all opinion on this?
transit, they often think of Europe.
And of course, all those things are true, but there has been a change. Everybody went crazy for the car once their country got rich enough. And in that sense, we have good company.
There is an important difference, though.
Around the turn of the century, a lot of European countries built out their public transit networks a lot more aggressively and started doing things like implementing congestion pricing, which of course has just been rolled out in one city in the US.
A frequently cited reason for this major distinction is the vast size of the United States and the relatively low density of a lot of American communities. The US is more than double the size of the EU in landmass, even without Alaska, Hawaii, and the territories, but the EU has about 100 million more people.
I've never owned a car
No, sure.
in New York City where I used to live, but I've also never taken the subway in Iowa. There is no subway in Iowa. Population density doesn't support it. It just doesn't make sense.
But even comparing a highly populated American city with a European one, like New York versus London and Paris, the numbers are vastly different.
In the early 1900s,
Many American cities were built around public transit and walking, but later became car-centric. There were multiple reasons for this, but a big one was policies favoring cars. These policies were supported by an alliance of different kinds of automotive groups.
Something that I'm learning this year, especially with Trump taking office, is how policy definitely affects a lot of not just businesses, but just life in general. You know, really gotta stay on top of this stuff, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you're invested in the market. Shoot, I feel like you should just stay on top of it in general. You never know what's gonna happen. Policy changes can affect a lot of stuff, good and bad. You know.
clubs, car dealers, manufacturers, sometimes even taxi cab and local delivery companies. The list goes on. That group called itself Motordom.
One of the conclusions they reached is that cities like Boston and Chicago and so on were cities where you didn't need a car. And within Motordom, they said this is a bad thing because people aren't buying cars even though they could afford them. They had a term for this. They called it submerged demand. To them, a great way to deal with submerged demand was to promote a road building policy that they were already behind for reasons of moving and selling cars, but that would also promote suburbanization.
In the early 20th century, cars were
Just like, okay, so like if the president, they put policy in, like they said, for new roads, that incentivizes road construction companies to build more roads. If they're incentivizing home construction, they'll put tax laws or something in there to incentivize homes. So it depends on the administration and what their goals are, you know what I mean, and favors. Interesting.
far more strictly regulated than they are today. But soon, the legal regime...
That's why currently Trump trying to reduce regulation on AI and stuff like that right now, which is going to incentivize more AI spending. You know.
favor.
At first, this strategy was largely directed at the urban fringe where suburbanization was most possible. But by the 1950s, it was also invading the city itself in an attempt, unfathomably destructive attempt, to make old, dense cities places where you could drive and where you could own a car and keep a car.
A self-reinforcing cycle took shape. Investments in cars, such as road building projects, led to further investments in cars.
We often hear the Interstate Highway System and the 1956 Federal Aid Highway Act, which is the basis of it, are often sort of taken as the starting point of modern American car dependency. I think that is a much too late of a dating. In fact, one of the things that made it possible to have this enormous public works project was that by 1956, Motordom had already won most of the necessary victories over things like engineering standards, traffic codes, safety education, and so on. And once they'd won those battles, the Interstate Highway Project actually seemed like a natural next step almost.
A 1977 U.S. Supreme Court decision called driving a virtual necessity, because long before then, it had become one.
This is perfectly understandable. I'm not even faulting them because this is just good business.
In 2024 alone, the automotive sector spent about $64 million lobbying in the U.S., second only to the air travel industry.
Hey, Robert Hood from Shark Tank. I'm a huge fan. Hey, what is your number one tip for saving money?
Like
Easy.
EV,
Pay off your
like
credit card
EV
debt
tax,
as soon as possible.
EV tax
And
cut,
there's actually a way to do that without paying.
EV tax cut rates when Biden was in
There's
office
still
that incentivized electric vehicles.
A
Some
legal
people they gotta
regime
pay
in
attention to.
place that intentionally or otherwise favors cars and makes it hard to build communities around other forms of transportation. Schill says we subsidize cars, trucks, and SUVs in two main ways: legally and fiscally. Two examples of legal subsidies: land use restrictions and traffic laws. First, land use. There are a number of laws around how people are allowed to use land. For example, nearly all American cities require buildings or structures to have some kind of attached parking. That is changing, but it's still really common.
It's just crazy to me that, big dense cities are requiring huge amounts of parking.
What's up, fam? Appreciate y'all tuning in.
Some law-
JRuss TV covering. We just covered Robinhood Portfolio, so if y'all want to, y'all can rewind for Robinhood Portfolio. Currently, we talking about how America got hooked on cars. So if y'all interested, leave a like for me real quick. Tune in. Let's get to it. And I got a lot of whole other videos covering my Robinhood Portfolio too on my channel, so check those out as well.
Laws may not intend to promote driving, but they effectively do. Many communities around the country have zoning laws that restrict home building to single-family dwellings rather than more dense structures like duplexes or apartments. Many of these laws came into effect during the automobile age. Large shares of the buildings already standing in some of America's cities would be illegal to build today. These laws really require communities to spread out, which makes them difficult to comfortably traverse on foot. Lower density also makes it tougher to justify public transit. Traffic laws also favor cars. Speeding is a major contributor to motor vehicle deaths, as much as drunk driving even.
Yeah.
But Schill writes that they are under-enforced and are enforced arbitrarily, among other things. Jaywalking laws only exist because of cars. Secondly are the fiscal subsidies. Critics call
Cars are a big contributor to society. For real though, like big industry. A lot of things are surrounded about
public transit
cars.
systems socialist, but various
Biggest wealth
federal
killer.
and state governments spend billions on road construction and maintenance.
Let me know what car y'all
About
drive.
266
Y'all use
billion
public
on
transportation
highways
more, or y'all only car? Like where y'all live? When I say where I live, I can't.
in 2022.
Well, my job is that I can't really use public transportation. I could probably take me 2 hours to get there, so I kind of need a car where I'm at.
According to one paper,
It takes enormous state capacities, public taxpayer dollars, what some people might call socialistic government departments to make it work. To the extent that it does work, it doesn't actually produce a very efficient result. Americans spend a lot of time sitting in behind the wheel of their car stuck in traffic.
of course, none of this means we drive solely because of some grand conspiracy by the automotive industry.
I do think it's important to underscore just how awesome cars are, right? Like, people were buying them. Car ownership like doubled and tripled every 10
Is it
years for a
token?
couple decades. Like, if cars sucked, that wouldn't have happened. Now, are there negative externalities of that? Of course. Have we managed those effectively? Of course not.
There also was the allure of cheaper and often higher quality housing out in the suburbs.
When you look at America today, where you see high transit ridership, New York, San Francisco, Boston, you have sort of lower income people who use transit and very high income people who use transit. There's sort of like a bimodal split. And so if you think about Manhattan, all the fanciest, richest neighborhoods have subways. You can see how if you're really in that middle class, you can't afford that. And then maybe you don't want to live far out on the subway in Queens or Brooklyn or the Bronx or whatever. So then what's left for you, right? You have suburban America.
So while cars did benefit from policy support, people also liked and could afford to live in places where cars were essentially necessary.
Yeah, I can't afford a car
American
now.
cities in 1900
Fine.
were not pleasant places.
Charge me
So
$50,000 for
one can
a car.
understand the desire to suburbanize and move out. I think context today is very different.
Cars won't vanish from U.S. roads anytime soon.
I would expect the use of cars to intensify.
Over the last 10 to 15 years, especially since the pandemic, a growing share of Americans have chosen suburbs and exurbs over cities.
Where you really need a car for daily life. There's really no indication that as an overall trend that is reversing. I think in this country, taking steps to push people away from cars is doomed to fail and is undesirable as a matter of individual liberty.
For those jobs where driving makes the most sense, we should permit driving. Although we may have to charge people for the public costs of accommodating
more
that driving, like for
tolls,
the road.
more all that.
But wherever anything else works, we want to accommodate that.
A slice of the population would prefer to live in smaller apartments and denser places if it means taking fewer car trips, walking, and biking.
But then your rent,
more,
your
and
rent
taking
gonna be
public
more,
transit
so that
or
kind
cabs,
just
rideshare.
evens that
A lot
out.
of Americans say they like walking and biking more than driving, and some polls in the past have suggested a majority supports more money for public transit.
I think overall we'll see more reliance on cars, but I do think we'll see growth of this additional option that has been to some extent suppressed by legal constraints, by law.
A plethora of cities around the country have rolled back their parking requirements and loosened zoning laws.
We want to promote walkability. We want to permit cycling. We want to take advantage of the fact that now, thanks to electric bikes, cycling is something that is more practical on more topographies for much
I'll get
broader
I'll
ranges.
get an electric bike. I'm not doing a manual bike. Regarding if I'm going to work, I'm not showing up to my work sweaty. I sweat too easily, bro. It's hot. I'm not doing all that, bro. Like coming in that joint musty, like off the early. It's funny because I actually back in middle school I had a teacher, my math teacher. She used to ride her bike to work every day faithfully. She was looking ahead of the game. She was like, cars just cost too much. She had a car, but it was like one of those mini Cooper Jones, the small. Hold on, let me show y'all. Let me see. It was like, nah, it wasn't even this. It was when they was first coming out, like these baby little the little baby jokes. I remember, and she was like vegan, health like, you know, one of those type. You know what I mean? But I respect it though. I would. This probably save you so much money, bro. But if you get in an accident, bro, I'm sorry, you getting crushed. If you get in an accident, bro, you're getting crushed. This joint is not protecting you at all. Like a freaking deer, a freaking fly could hit that joint and you getting flipped over, bro. That's crazy.
People, if we would only
you're not getting
accommodate
protected
that very low intensity demand that's much more affordable to accommodate than driving.
Some measures may prove more popular than they seem at first. New York enacted a congestion pricing plan in January 2025 to reduce traffic in the city, but it came after some intense legal battles.
Dang, they trying to charge you to drive.
Who study cities?
I don't see how people live in New York.
Whether policy should try to
your money just coming out your pocket left and right. You keep nothing,
or whether it's better to use carrots. And I think this is kind of a false dichotomy. And congestion pricing shows that, right? On the surface, it's a stick. If you're driving during peak hours into the congestion zone, you have to pay the fee. But it's also a carrot because you can drive much more easily and quickly for that price. And as a consequence, that creates a stream of revenue that can be used to strengthen public transit.
But strengthening the case for other transit options, especially investments in public transit, requires making them cost-effective. NYU's Transit Costs Project has shown that the U.S. pays a lot more for public transportation than many peer countries. The first phase of the 2nd Avenue subway in New York City cost 10 times the amount of comparable systems in Italy, Sweden, and Turkey.
People can interpret.
So we invest in more
into
public transportation.
But what you see in the U.S. is just very little output for time and money.
The U.S. could reduce costs several ways, such as by adopting practices from low-cost countries, standardizing designs for stations, not overbuilding, and holding agencies accountable for budgets. But public transit also has to compete in terms of time. It takes about twice as long as it does to travel by car. That also doesn't have to be the case.
We need them bullet trains. I'm not trying to be in a train for 2 hours.
The area electrified its trains, which sped up trips. The group also doubled the frequency of service.
That oftentimes puts you in, striking distance of driving. And then it's like, okay, I get those 10 minutes back. That's awesome. I'll take it.
Ridership jumped 17% overall and 38% on weekends in its first month of service.
That's good. Now that's good. Let me know y'all below. Appreciate y'all tuning in. If y'all here for my RobinHood portfolio update, wind this back. I covered it earlier in the live stream. I do have some more videos I've covered as well on my channel, so check out those old videos. If you here, hit that like for me real quick, 2 seconds. Let's hit that like. I'm appreciate it. Subscribe for me. Just hit that like if you find this content entertaining. But we're gonna get into one more video today. Starter homes, So if you're new to my channel, JRush TV, we cover all things business, finance, reaction videos, the economy, self-improvement, just get into the money. So does that sound like something you like? Make sure you like, you subscribe, tune in, leave a comment. If you're returning to my channel, appreciate you tuning back in, fam. You already know what's up. Another week, another video. But the next video we're going to get into is starter home struggles and the sandwich generation retirement woes. Eye on America. What do they mean by sandwich generation? But I don't know. We will see. Let's see.
Explore how Americans are dealing with
Just 21 minutes. I'm
Welcome to Eye on America. I'm Michelle Miller. Today we explore how Americans are dealing with challenges and opportunities in the economy. In Texas, we learn why many aspiring homeowners are struggling to break into the market. And in Oklahoma City, we see how 2 brothers tapped into the city's growing craft beer scene to launch their own dream business. But we begin in Virginia, one of just 10 states that require a personal finance course to graduate from high school. Matt Oliver sits in on a class.
Why they don't in Virginia? Why don't do this in Maryland? That would have been helpful. I wish I had that in high school. I wish I would have had that in high school. Personal finance class.
It's teaching teens how financial literacy serves as a foundation for fiscal responsibility.
For sure. We need this. Should be a whole class.
What all do you have in here?
They lacking.
So we sell sneakers, we buy, sell, and
yes,
trade.
sir.
22-year-old college senior Norris Willifer doesn't just work at MBM Kicks in downtown Richmond.
They go Boston.
He owns it.
Where did you learn how to open a business at such a young age?
Miss Hare was one of my biggest influences. She taught me a financial literacy class. Good afternoon.
That class Miss Hayer teaches isn't a college course.
It's called inflation.
This is high school. Charlotte Hayer teaches at Richmond Community High in Virginia, where the course is required for graduation.
How important is financial literacy?
I unashamedly tell my students that this is the most important course they will take.
Are you teaching investing, budgeting, Bitcoin?
Anything that deals with money. We talk about scams, we talk about insurance, we talk about planning, decision
That's what I'm
making,
talking about.
budgeting,
That's what I'm talking about.
investing, saving.
That's what I'm talking about, man. This is what we
85%
need,
of high
bro.
schoolers nationwide say they want to learn about financial topics. Only 10 states require the course, but by 2031, that's expected to jump to 26.
That's what's up.
They're on the brink of adulthood.
Making
John
progress.
Pelletier has been tracking the number of states requiring high school finance courses for more than a decade.
They're entering that phase of life where not a day will go by where they don't think about money, how to make it, how to save it, how to spend it.
Students who take these classes learn more than just how to budget their money at the mall. Studies show requiring financial education improves credit scores, lowers loan delinquency rates, and reduces the likelihood of falling behind on credit card payments.
If a young person understands how to maximize their credit score, so they get lower interest rates on credit cards, on automobile loans, on their mortgages, that could literally save them more than $100,000 in lifetime interest payments.
Really?
16-year-old junior Mahogany Rogers is taking Miss Hayer's class now.
Are you a saver or a spender?
A spender.
A spender.
To be honest.
She's also started her own business,
Okay,
doing her
edges.
classmates' hair, but she thinks the class should be required for all students, budding entrepreneurs or not.
This class, she kind of teaches us how to get into the mindset of you don't always have to buy something that you want. It's more about what you need.
Would you have
Even then, we are a consumer economy. Like, we buy so much stuff. It's like, if you're gonna spend $1,000 a month on Target, invest in the stock, buy a couple shares. That's how I think of it.
We'll go start this business.
Nike, buy some shares of Nike right now.
Definitely not.
A valuable class helping students earn dividends for years to come.
We turn now from learning about money management to planning for retirement. Workers in their 50s are generally at peak earning potential. However, 2/3 of 55-year-olds fear they will outlive their retirement savings, according to a recent survey. Jill Schlesinger speaks with one couple who wants to save more for their future, but are stretched too thin, supporting multiple generations of their own family.
Dinner time at the Gomez residence in suburban Boston means feeding 3 generations.
Here you go. It's crazy. We're raising my niece and nephew. My mother lives with us, and my sister lives with us.
So how many people total in this house?
7.
Alicia, 56, works for a nonprofit.
That's all I ask from my parents, bro. Just take care of your health right now and take care of your retirement savings.
And her husband, Chu, 58, works in logistics. They're
all
part
I
of the
ask.
sandwich generation, workers supporting young relatives and aging parents.
I equate it to a turkey club sandwich because a club sandwich has a lot of layers, and we have a lot of layers.
Sandwich arrangements like this account for roughly 5 million U.S. households. They can easily wreak havoc on retirement plans.
How do you think about the future?
We were thinking 62. Well, we can retire at 62 and still be young. And the other day she says, "You're going to work to 70, right?" I'm like, "I guess so."
50s is a good time to save. People in their 50s, says labor economist Teresa Ghilarducci, need to put away as much of their earnings as possible.
In your 50s, you may be pressured to help your adult children. You may be pressured to even help your older parents, but don't sacrifice your own retirement savings.
That's what I'm saying.
The Gomez's are saving, but they are more than $500,000 in debt, including house, car, and college loans for their 2 daughters.
How long before those are paid off?
He's going to be 71 when they're done.
Yeah, we'll have those for a long time.
The Gomez's do have an...
I'm sorry, kids, but that's on you. Now, by all means, I'm working. I'm grinding right now for y'all to pay for y'all college tuition fully cash, man. But so if y'all watching this 15 years from now, hey, if we hit, it hit. But I'm not paying y'all college loans, bro. I'm sorry. Y'all gonna have to get it out the mud like me. You feel me? I'm not paying for your college loans. I'll assist. I'll pay. I'll help. I'll assist you. But I'm not fully paying for your college loans. And I don't expect my parents to pay for my college loans, bro. I'm a work, get a job, be productive, and pay for them. You know what I mean? But
not a big one.
don't know
If
about
you're
that.
in your 50s like them, here's what to consider. Have honest conversations about how long any assistance for relatives, like any older children, will last. Temporarily reduce retirement contributions to pay down any high-interest debt, like credit cards. Then importantly, don't forget to boost your savings. Is the money coming in covering the bills that you have?
We have enough that it's not where we should be. God forbid if one of us gets sick or we are laid off, what will that do to us financially?
Well, people in their 50s have a really high chance of losing their career job. So watch your back, keep your job.
Both Alicia and Chu were in fact laid off in their 50s. Alicia picked up consulting work, then was rehired. But it took Chu 6 months during the pandemic to find a new job.
When you get laid off, you can't do the 401k, so that was 6 months of 401k that was not being put in there.
Chu missed $13,000 in 401k contributions, which would have been worth roughly $40,000 by the time he retires, and could have helped cover some retirement costs, like health insurance. On average,
Hey, I appreciate you still tuning in here. Make sure you leave that like button, hit that like button for me. Leave a comment. What you think on this topic?
A retired 65-year-old should expect to spend about $165,000 on healthcare throughout retirement.
Do you think about that?
It's funny, you know, until you bring it up with somebody, oh yeah, that other thing, that's always there.
Take your time.
The retirement pressure never lets up.
We didn't know we were going to have to care for so many family members. So the unexpected was a wake-up call, I think, for us.
For the sandwich generation, saving for the unexpected is the best answer to that call.
That sounds good.
Coming up, why many would-be homeowners
Real
are
life.
increasingly embracing renting.
Real life.
This is Eye on America.
Real life.
Using the right weight.
Real life, man. This
The
is
body
real
part
life.
lets you easily understand what is the fastest way to reach your health.
Real life. I don't know if I'm gonna cover this
Welcome
whole
back.
video. It's about to
Prospective
be covered for
homeowners
an
are
hour.
still dealing
I got
with
like
high
15
interest
minutes.
rates and expensive
Might be
listings
good.
across the nation, delaying their dreams of owning property. Chris Van Cleve learns how the shortage of available houses to buy is leading to a spot.
Welcome back to JRush TV. If y'all new to my channel, make sure to hit that like, that comment, that subscribe button. We cover all things business, finance, self-improvement. Get into the paper, get into the money, bettering yourself. If you return to my channel, appreciate you tuning back in. You already know what's up. We covering right now we covering starter homes, struggles, and the sandwich generation retirement. So let's see what they talking about. Appreciate y'all tuning in.
In the home rental market.
About 90 minutes outside Houston, Richard Bellote loves the view from his backyard.
Every morning I get up and
That's a nice
I
view.
go outside with the dogs and I have a cup of coffee.
That's what
But
life
he doesn't own
is.
this brand new house. In fact, it's not for sale. His Montgomery, Texas community is part of a rapidly growing trend in the U.S. housing market. Blocks of single-family homes built specifically
Just
to
for
rent.
It's a good stepping stone.
Despite saving diligently to buy a home,
The interest rates are just too high to manage.
he and his fiancée
I mean-
feel priced out of their house hunt.
Depends how much
Really
they
kind of
cost
crossing our
them.
fingers that those rates go down.
Bellote is far from alone. A July poll found 86% of renters say they can't afford a home, and 54% believe it's unlikely they'll ever be able to. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
House prices have gone up by more than 40% in just 4 years. There are a lot of people out there who really want to be in homes and they just can't afford to get there.
Built-to-rent communities began popping up in Phoenix during the Great Recession to meet that demand. People who couldn't buy a home but wanted a house. They are higher density and smaller cottage-sized homes, a literal cottage industry now spreading across the Sun Belt.
3 metro areas are really leading this built-to-rent trend here in the Phoenix area, Dallas, and Atlanta, but nationally...
It depends how much they charging. I'm not against renting, especially something sweet like this. It depends how much they charging though.
Last year, nearly 100,000 units were completed. That's an all-time high. And part of the drive behind it, the cost to rent, is less than the monthly cost to own.
We're really in the first couple innings of the BTR.
They said the cost to rent is less.
The cost to rent is less than...
$800 lower than a mortgage payment. Cause then think about it, you got to put a down payment. May have some maintenance you got to do, beef it up a little bit, and then you paying a little more, roughly $800 more. Or you can rent, save all that money, invest it in your business, the stock market, and still be cash flowing that extra $800 a month and living something sweet like this, compounded over 10 years or so. Then maybe you go buy a crib if that's something you really want to do. But off the porch, I don't know. It might not be the best.
Cost to own.
We're really in the first couple innings of the BTR business.
Brent Long is leading the build-to-rent
Build-to-rent.
expansion for Christopher Todd Communities. He says renters stretch from Gen Z to baby boomers.
It's really renters by choice and renters by need.
If the traditional view of the American dream is you buy a home and that becomes your biggest asset, what does this do to that concept?
I don't think it takes it away. It solves some issues that are out there in terms of affordability, availability.
I just don't want to own right now.
Cassie Wilson rents by choice. Her community outside Phoenix is loaded with amenities,
That
free
looks sweet.
homeowner responsibilities.
That looks
You feel like
sweet.
you're throwing money away?
No.
That looks
I can
sweet.
live here in a house that is fully upkept by someone else.
You feel me?
I would like to buy a house out here, but on the flip side, I still want to travel. This is just the perfect in between.
That's what I'm saying. Travel, you might be able to drive a car you want, have a little extra cash, or you buy a home and you just house poor. It depends on what you want.
These
It depends on what
communities
you
made up
want.
only about 8% of new residential construction last year. Housing advocates in Arizona welcome anything that helps address the
You
housing
got a little
shortage.
golf course.
Argue these communities
I live there.
prices down.
That area look nice.
Richard Below
Pool.
sees this built
This look
house
sweet.
as buying time to save.
This gives us the opportunity to live in a nice place, a place that we like, a place that we can treat like a home, and hope that things get a little bit more manageable.
Home sweet home, as they wait for a break in the housing market.
We continue with the ongoing housing crisis that's facing millions of Americans. Experts estimate a current shortage of about 5 million homes for sale or rent. This lack of inventory is continuing to drive up demand and prices. Mark Strassman shows us how the situation is worsening for families looking for a starter home.
I am actively house hunting. I would love to purchase a home by the end of this year.
In Houston, the starter home Felicia Ellis desperately wants seems priced like the forever home she can't afford. Take this 3-bedroom, 2-bath house.
Someone put an offer and the offer was accepted. That was,
The one that got away.
yeah, the one that got away.
Buyers like Ellis need builders like Sharon Mayberry.
You want to take and go ahead and get this framed up?
He's committed to starter home projects like this. 40 units, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, 1,650 square feet. Typical price, $250,000. About average for Houston starter home.
Wow. Houston? Dang. We moving out of Houston, gang? We better move out of Houston? I don't know. They got houses for $250. They got houses for $250. Dang. Huh. That looks sweet too. That joint look nice. $250. Shoot. We can get that right now though. But Houston soaring in HIV though. they soaring in HIV though. That ain't $250. That ain't bad though. That ain't bad. But everybody going to Houston though. You feel me?
His secret to making the math work, city zoning and subsidies. He's financing the build using nearly $5 million in city reinvestment funds.
It's the land costs that kill you right off the bat. Oh, absolutely.
No, the
Because
land
without the
costs.
land, you can't build a house.
Yeah.
Without the subsidies, what would they average? Oh, man. It would be north of about $350, pretty close to $400,000.
CBS News crunched the numbers for income and home prices in America's largest 100 cities. 5 years ago, 1 in 3 American families could afford a starter home in 63 of those cities. This summer, it's down to 10. Just 10 cities where a starter home is possible for 1 in 3 families.
There is no doubt this is a crisis.
Dang.
Chris Vincent's with Habitat for Humanity. It's Vice President of Government Relations and Advocacy. Habitat, one of America's largest builders of starter homes like these in Silver Spring, Maryland, now focuses on advocacy
Silver
as much
Spring.
as building.
A lot of this is from
Maryland.
tailwinds, even from the 2008 financial crisis. But we've essentially been not building enough homes over the last decade to keep up with the demand.
Carolyn Hipkins got lucky in Maryland. She was making
Oh, yeah.
$54,000 a
Maryland.
year when she bought this starter home, a house rehabbed by Habitat. Sale price, $360,000 with a 0% Habitat mortgage.
Oh, I
$360 for
was
that.
happy when I got that
That-
call on the phone. I had to control myself because I wanted to
That
scream.
What does it mean to you to have your own
$350.
space?
Oh,
$350 for
peace
that?
and quiet, and just comfort.
Habitat says 1 in 6 families now spend more than half their income on housing.
Oh
What are you
yeah, that's
advocating for?
easily
It's access to
nowadays.
credit, it's access to land,
Rent
and it's
too.
in places of communities of opportunity.
But for every Carolyn Hipkins, thousands of people like Felicia Ellis keep looking.
So you tell yourself, I am going to buy a house.
Absolutely.
I am going to buy a house. I am going to buy a house.
Yes. I have it written down and I have it on a Post-it note in my bedroom.
What does the Post-it note say?
It says you will be a homeowner.
The
Yes,
American
sir.
dream
See
on a
it,
Post-it note.
believe it.
It has sticker shock.
Ahead, how two brothers' unique beer bus helped lead the charge for one city's craft beer boom. That story is next.
What's up, fam? Appreciate y'all tuning in. JRuss TV. We cover all things business, finance, lifestyle, economy. So that's something you're interested in. Go ahead, hit that like, that comment, and subscribe. If you're returning to my channel, you already know what's up. Another week, another video, another live stream. If y'all into my RobinHood portfolio, we covered that earlier in the live stream. So rewind to that. We just covered the car problem in America. That was a good video. Right now we covering home struggles with home ownership, starter homes, things like that. So hit that like button, leave a comment, let me know what y'all think. Appreciate y'all tuning in.
I want to buy your house. I can pay you cash for your house no matter what condition it's in. If you...
Beer lovers in the country. Brothers Joe and Will Quinlan opened the Big Friendly Brewery there in 2019. But their entrepreneurial journey began years before when they converted an old school bus into a unique mobile tap room. I recently visited the site where the siblings turned a beat-up bus into a beer lover's dream. Get up, a business. Before there was the Big Friendly Brewery, there was this beer bus.
I would go to festivals and I would see food trucks selling food, and at those same festivals I would see breweries selling beer, and I'm like, it's possible to sell beer at these festivals, and why is there not a food truck that sells beer?
They wanted to change that, and within a year started building their vision. Wow, you really made this your own.
Yeah, we converted it. It took quite a while to do.
10 months to be exact, to transform an old school bus into a functioning tap room, equipped with a bar, lights, tables, stools, and a custom fridge.
Back here, which is one of the things I'm the most proud of.
Look at that.
That's all right.
We have 8 taps on the inside, 8 taps on the outside.
And the price tag?
It probably costs like $20,000 or $25,000 to remodel it, which is not really that much if you think about it.
Interesting.
But I had some friends that were generous with their time and wanted to help out.
Once the renovation was complete, it was time to hit the road. How do you go from real estate in California to running a brewery from a school bus?
It's a great question. It's something that you just don't plan. You know, you just kind of take one step at a time.
Joe took the first step in 2007 when he moved to Oklahoma City after his sister and parents relocated. Why did you think your fit was in Oklahoma City?
I really loved the contrast of Oklahoma City, where living in San Diego is much bigger, faster. The cost of living was a lot higher. People were always coming and going, and they were there for the ocean and they were there for the weather, but they weren't there for me.
But you're saying the engagement was about the destination.
Yes, yep. And then this just seemed like an easier place to start a business.
Especially since they had virtually no competition. It wasn't until Prairie Artisan Ales, one of the top breweries in the country, launched over a decade ago, that put the Oklahoma craft beer scene on the map.
When I first moved here, there was one brewery in the whole state.
Just one?
Wow.
How many are there now?
About 80.
Today, Will and Joe brew about 150,000 gallons yearly at the Big Friendly. Perfecting those skills started at home. Did you know anything about making beer?
No.
Not a soul stitch?
No, I knew how to cook food at home. I knew what ingredients went into making beer, but I had no clue on how to make beer.
But you knew you liked it?
I loved beer, yeah. I came from a mecca of craft beer in San Diego, so moving out here was kind of sad in that way.
So you created it?
That's right, yeah. There was really nothing going in the craft beer scene, and so not only could you start something, but you can be part of the culture that formed around that something.
The Quinlan brothers were on the ground floor of the recent craft beer boom here. And here's the big brewery.
Yep, this is the brewery.
You went from the bus to the brewery in how many years?
Oh, so they got their own
5.
crib.
What do you think ignited it?
Cool.
Community, creativity, and this desire to make a product that we want to drink. Like, beer is about community. It's about hanging out with people that you love.
Community and the vision of the neighborhood coming to life. Well, when you look around, look at this neighborhood. I mean, it's brand new.
Yeah, this neighborhood started, I think, just over 5 years ago. When we were building the brewery, there was houses being developed right behind us. There was hardly any houses built.
And they're building more.
Yeah, they're building more. There was nothing to the north. There was nothing to the south of us. The Wheeler District is a new
Booming.
urbanism type
Perfect,
of community. It's very walkable,
perfect timing.
Very bikeable. It's very different for Oklahoma, actually very different for the region.
Since the Big Friendly opened in 2020, it's been awarded silver medals for their farmhouse ales, gold medals for its Petite Saison, and named Brewery
Petite
of the Year
Saison
at the Great American Beer Festival.
We make beer that we like to drink, and so we made this really low ABV beer that we could drink a lot of. A light, sessionable, refreshing, slightly citrus flavored beer.
Now that's a good that's a good video. That's a good video. Let me know y'all comments down below. Man, this housing problem isn't gonna end. I'm gonna make sure I keep y'all updated. Appreciate y'all tuning in. If y'all made it this far throughout the video, make sure y'all like, y'all comment, subscribe. Appreciate you. Another week, another video. We gonna keep running it up. And yeah, this gonna be the last video for the day. Appreciate y'all tuning in, and have y'all make sure you have a productive week. Keep getting to the paper, keep getting to the money. You feel me?